Alright, what's going on YouTube? It's Shadowlaw here, and today I'm going to talk to you and give you a few tips on how to optimize your PS3 Slim. A few myths, I'm going to knock those out, and a couple do's and don'ts, network connection issues that you might be having. So let's get on with it. First thing I get asked a lot is if you can hook up the PS3 Feta or PS3 Slim up to an external display. Some people are having issues with this, saying that they get no picture. The reason for that being is that you have to have an external monitor that is HDCP compliant. Make sure before you go out and buy a monitor, you know that it's HDCP compliant. My monitor doesn't have a HDMI independent port, so I use this, which is basically a DVI to HDMI connector. You're probably going to have a DVI if you don't have a HDMI. So basically, this connector can be bought anywhere, and it just plugs right into the HDMI cable. You can get full 1080p from this, but you're only going to get video. This is only for your video. I'm going to show you what to do with your audio next. So let me plug this into my monitor without tearing up anything. Alright, I think that's pretty snug. It's fine. Now for your audio, if you're going DVI, you're going to have an external audio source. I got a set of Logitech speakers. Pretty simple setup. You can use your headphones too, and I use this Y splitter combination of the regular cables that comes with the PS3. Now I'm not going to use this for video, it's just for audio. So you can get this at Radio Shack or anywhere, and you go ahead and plug those up. And I have a headphone jack in my speaker, and I'm plugging that in right now. And that sets up the audio. Number two, second thing is, I get asked if the PS3 Slim can stand up vertical on its own like the PS3 Fat. The answer to that question is absolutely not. You stand it up, if someone hits it or bumps it, it's going to fall over because it's curved at the back like this, and it's very offset. The balance is offset. What I recommend is the vertical stand by Sony. And the reason why I recommend the Sony stand is for people like me. I have this God of War faceplate. This is not a sticker. This is hard plastic. It snaps on. It can come off at any time. It snaps on, or you can pull it off. And the Sony brand, unlike the Nyko, which sells for about $5 cheaper, doesn't have this latch. See that latch right there? That latch basically secures the thing in place. So it allows me the extra width that my faceplate is giving my system, and the Nyko one does not. That you can get, the faceplate is $19.99 at GameStop. The vertical stand, it says is $19.99, but they've had a price drop, so this thing as of now is $14.99. You can get that, and so that goes for it pretty much standing vertical. Dissipates heat a little better standing up vertical. Now, the third thing, the PS3 Slim hard drive. It's in a video game store, and a guy asked store clerk if the PS3 Slim can have a hard drive upgrade like the PS3 Fat. And he told him no. That is absolutely incorrect. Yes, you can upgrade your PS3 Slim hard drive. You can upgrade it with any 2x5 laptop hard drive. Preferably something that runs at 5,400 RPMs because it's less heat. There's a little tab, as you saw, I just popped it up, that's on the bottom of your system, and there's a blue screw. You basically just take a Phillips screwdriver, nothing out of the ordinary, pop that screw out, there's a little door right here, bring that door up, you'll see the hard drive in its bay, there's a little latch right here, you pull that out, voila, your hard drive. So there's no reason for you to go out and spend extra money on a 320 gig or 120 gig when your 120 gig model is $299 or whatever. Actually, they got an awesome Killzone model that's $299 now, and it comes with Killzone. But I pretty much replaced my old hard drive with this is a 500 gig to hold all my stuff, so I'm going to pop that back in. Make sure when you are replacing your hard drive, comes out of this little bay, make sure you back up whatever you need onto some type of external device, whether it be a USB stick or another USB like hard drive or whatever, because you're going to have to format the new hard drive, and then you're going to have to download the firmware from Sony's website, from the PlayStation website, in order to get the new hard drive formatted and working correctly. If you guys want a tutorial on that, just give me a request and I'll do a tutorial on that separately. Okay, so now that takes care of that. Let me go ahead and plug up my other HDMI cable, which I knocked on the floor. I don't have any video editing software. If you guys have watched any of my videos, you know I just do everything from my iPhone with what little light I have. So let's go ahead. There's my HDMI cord. I'm going to use this for audio. My monitor is a ViewSonic 1080p monitor. I really like this monitor. I got it from Tiger Direct. It's pretty good. My hard drive, the one that's in the inside of the 500 gig, I got from Micro Center, and that was $59.99. It was even cheaper than anything I found on Newegg. So let's go ahead and turn the system around. Now the next thing is your system settings. When you're going from whatever display you had to a new display, this is what you want to do. I'm going to try to bring this over there. Your power button, which is mine, is a little beat up, thanks via things falling around my house and my kids. What you want to do is press and hold the power button without letting it go until you get a second beep. So let's go ahead and do that. You hear the first beep, do not let it go. Keep holding it until you get a second beep. That's my second beep. On the monitor then, or whatever display you have, you should get a message. It says, an available HDMI device was detected. Do you want to output video and audio using HDMI? Well, we can't do audio, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to say yes for right now, and I'm going to show you how to fix that. Now what this does is this resets all of your video settings. And you want to reset all of your video settings because you want it best for the display you're using. So just take your controller, sync it, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose yes. It's going to detect the best setting for the display I have, which mine is 1080p, so I'm going to go ahead and say yes and hit enter. And it's going to start up. Of course, I don't have any audio because I haven't set my audio up. Now, speaking of audio, the best way to set your audio after I get signed in is to go over to your settings, game settings. We're going to go down to sound settings. And no matter what your audio is set on, you want to do this. Go into audio settings and select optical digital. And there's a reason for this. Go ahead and select all of these that are in there. Go over. You're going to get a warning about the device and the speakers. Go ahead and hit enter. Okay? When you go out, you see where it says audio multi-output. Go ahead and do that to on. You're going to get another settings disclaimer or whatever and hit OK. Now as you see, I got my audio. You can get your 2-channel audio without doing that, but what that does is if you have videos that has the new Blu-ray, Cine, whatever protection on that, it'll completely bypass that. So that was a tip right there within itself. Now what I'm going to go into is a lot of people are having issues with playbacks of their movies. As you see when I go ahead and I hold this down, you can't really see it on here, but I can see it in front of me. My screen is not, my blacks aren't as rich as they normally are, and my whites aren't as bright as they normally are. On this display, I want the dark, the richest blacks, and the best whites as possible. So what you could do is you go back, and if this screen is a little grayish and not as dark as you want it, and you've adjusted your contrast and your brightness as much as you can, go ahead and back out and go into your display settings. You see where it says RGB full range HDMI? You want to go ahead and switch that to full. Go ahead and change that, hit yes, And if you were here and you can see this, my blacks are really rich now. They're very rich. They look very good. So my darks are going to be darks. And underneath that, you're going to see something about super white for your HDMI. Go ahead and switch that to on. Your deep color output, you can leave that at automatic. But that go ahead and that takes care of the murky gray you have instead of your rich and full blacks, which makes your movies and your games look awesome, basically. Now, another issue, we're getting to the end of this video now, I'm sorry, I done took up 10 minutes of your time, that people are having is people would have connection issues. You get a little message on this side saying you have been disconnected from the PlayStation Network, blah, 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 you're having issues. What I figured that out is that has to do with the media server. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your network settings. If you don't use your media server, I'm telling you this, go ahead and take my word for this. Go to media server connection, which is all the way at the bottom of the screen. If you're getting discoed from the PlayStation Network all the time, disable that, problem solved. You won't get disconnected from your router. And it has to do with something with the wireless and the media server. They conflict. You get bumped off of the PlayStation Network all the time. So you go ahead and disable that, and that should take care of you pretty much being discode. I think I covered about everything I want to cover, so I think that's about it, YouTube. If you have any questions or if you want to see me do a more in-depth tutorial about anything I talked about, go ahead and leave it in your response section or whatever. Took up almost 12 minutes of your time, but I hope some of these pointers and some of these tips have helped you guys out. Peace out, YouTube.